Afternoon, WhoDey Nation. It's your boy Drew Collins here on the DCTV, bringing you all the best Cincinnati infotainment news on YouTube. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button and hit that sub button, and join the DCTV family and WhoDey Nation. I apologize if I sound quite a bit upset, but as you know on DCTV, I keep it 110% with you guys. I don't sugarcoat anything, and if you're a Bengals fan right now, there's absolutely nothing to be happy about. I want WhoDey Nation to stay positive. I want you guys to fight for happiness and look for the light at the end of the tunnel. But at the same time, this isn't good news, and this is something that should have never happened if Burrow was put into the correct circumstances that he should have been put into. So the new update was that last night that it was 110% a torn ACL, but they were saying they need to further that night. He needs to go see more exams to see if there's any structural damage or any other ligaments possibly torn. And just within a few minutes ago, we received news that he has torn an ACL, MCL, and there's possible even more structural damage upon that. And that's no bueno. That is not good. An ACL injury, a player can come back within 6-ish months. If it's just a clean cut, come back, surgery, rehab, quick thing. The problem is when you tear multiple ligaments and there's structural damage, the surgery can't happen right away. So unlike where you just tear an ACL, you can go to surgery within days. But when there's structural damage, you have to make sure structural damage is okay before you can even go to surgery. So it elongs the return time for the player, and two, it's even more rehab. So sorry, excuse me. I know a lot of people were hoping for like a beginning of the year return for Joe Burrow, but at this point, I just hope he'll be the same player he once was. We've seen players tear multiple things, and they come back and they're great and they're awesome, players, but they really lose, some capabilities and some abilities. Teddy Bridgewater's a guy who tore his ACL, MCL, PCL, dislocated his knee, and broke his leg in practice. He came back, and yeah, he is a starter right now in the National Football League, but he really lost his improvising and mobility he once had before. And, you see it all the time. Look at Alex Smith. He really doesn't get out the pocket anymore. I know he wasn't the biggest running guy, but he's very, very limited. All these guys, RG3's, the guy is like a backup. He's not even really in the league anymore. And, I have no doubt in my mind Joe Burrow will work his butt off. 110%. I know he'll work his butt off and try to get back into as soon as possible, but there's only so much he can do. He's a human being. You know what I mean? So, WhoDey Nation, I just want to come out and break the news if you didn't see it already. The only thing you can do is just keep praying, showing your support for Burrow, and try to look forward for the rest of the season. It's so hard because every single game day stream and streams I have throughout the week, if Joe Burrow is on the field, there's a chance the Bengals win, no matter who they play. We've waited so long for our guy, and we finally got him, and the Bengals, quote unquote, ruined him. So you think he'll be back for next season? If it was just the ACL, guys do it in 6 months. But if it's multiple torn ligaments and structural damage, that could be a lot more time. That could be double the time, if not longer. It could be more surgeries, which is more rehab, which is more time. So I have no idea. And my prayers go out to Joe Burrow and the Burrow family, and I hope everything's okay. I hope he's okay. But Bengals fans, I've tried to stay positive the past, almost 24 hours now? About 24 hours, yeah, since the injury. But as I'm, continuing to think, I'm just like, the Bengals organization and front office could have prevented this. But it's like, don't do it. Don't go down that path, because then it's just negativity that you're going to be facing. But I just continuously think, and I'm like, Mike Brown, Zach Taylor, if you guys would have just went after some offensive linemen, like maybe this would have never happened. But, it's that shoulda, woulda, coulda thing you don't really want to fall for because it just takes you down a rabbit path of a route you just really don't want to go down. So just try to stay positive, WhoDey Nation, in this very tough time, in this very unfortunate time. Just stay positive. Keep praying for Joe. Yeah. I think everyone deals with, negativity in life in different ways, in different fashions, and you kind of just have to respect that, as long as they are being respectful. The only thing I can say from this is that if the Bengals organization doesn't learn from this mistake on their part, I don't think the Bengals organization will ever be a winning franchise, will ever be a successful franchise. If you can't learn from this and going forward make better moves to protect your most valuable players, I don't know if the Bengals will ever be a winning franchise. I definitely have hope they will be, but we have to see what that happens after this. If they don't draft an offensive lineman in the top 3, top 5 pick, if we don't go sign a top offensive lineman to be a captain of that O-line, if we don't continue to build around Joe Burrow and we just sit like sitting ducks in free agency and don't go after anybody, it's going to be very upsetting. As an understatement, I'll just say that. So I'm not going to sit here and continue to go on. I just want to let you guys know ACL, MCL, and possible structural damage. I will continue to any unbreaking news. If we get any positive news, hopefully, maybe in a day or two they come back and they say, hey, the structural damage, it's not too bad. It's just, swollen or whatever. I'm not a doctor or anything. Hopefully that's the best news. Like I said yesterday, the best news possible was that's just an ACL and just the ACL, and we just found out it's not. It could be a lot worse. And Bengals fans really are in a nightmare right here. I mean, if you're not a Bengals fan right now, just sad. I mean, just sad right now. I'm a 19-year-old kid, and I haven't seen my own franchise win a single playoff game. I've seen the past few years us look forward to a new direction for Andy Dalton. It didn't just happen overnight where you could tell the Bengals wanted to go into a new direction. We got loss after loss after loss after loss, humiliation after humiliation, trying to stick up for this franchise week in and week out, even against the own Bengal haters, to stick up. No, you got to stay loyal. You got to rep Cincinnati. And we finally get our pride and joy, Joe Burrow. And at one point it was Tua. Remember the tank for Tua early on last season, and then ended up going to Burrow after he started having that outbreak year. And it's just sad. I'm trying to stay positive, WhoDey Nation. I really am, in DCTV family. I really, really am. But it's just so hard. It's so hard. Everyone keeps saying, look at the tunnel, look at the light in the tunnel. But it's like, what light? If Joe Burrow might not be the same player again, what light is there? Because Joe Burrow was that light. Week in and week out, every stream, we had a chance because number 9 was on the field. And he's gone. And we don't know when we'll get him back. So, look at the positives. It might not be broken. Whatever. He definitely, his career isn't over. I'm not trying to sound too dramatic, but structural damage, I mean, he will probably be wearing a brace for his rest of his career. To come back from an injury like that and not wear a brace for the rest of your career, and what's a brace usually do? It usually inhibits their mobility, which is something Burrow has really shown flashes of so far this season, the way to get out the pocket and do things with just his feet and his mind to improvise. Are we going to lose some of that? I don't know. And, I don't want you to, get in the wrong thought that, oh, you don't think Joe Burrow is going to be able to come back. That's not the point. Joe Burrow is going to do what Joe Burrow does, and that's overcome adversity and be the resilient human being he is. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm just worried about now we're going to settle for a top 3, top 5 draft pick because we're not going to win any more games this season. And with that draft pick, we're going to draft an offensive lineman. But when we draft that offensive lineman, is that all we're going to do? Are we just going to draft that offensive lineman and re-sign Carl Lawson, maybe re-sign William Jackson? That's it? That's the entire free agency? That's kind of what I'm afraid of. I know a lot of Bengals fans being positive was like, hey, the Bengals went out there last week and spent, last year and spent money. That's just true. It's the most money they spent since I've been alive as a human, to be honest. But we can't, 1 year doesn't make up for the past 3 decades. You know what I mean? So we have to continuously hope that this Bengals organization will continuously improve for the best. And for Joe Burrow, because that kid, if anybody, deserves it the most. And imagine if this does kind of elapse his career, what the national media will then think of the Bengals, as if what they don't think already. And I don't mean we won't win another game this season, but I mean, what are the odds that Ryan Finley can put up points on the board? I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm a little negative. I preach positivity on DCTV, but I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard. We worked, everything we did for the past few years was to build towards our future. And within a couple weeks of this season, I think the Bengals might have destroyed the future a little bit. Or if anything, delayed. So hashtag Prayforjoe in the comments. Hashtag Prayforjoe in the comments. And I think I'm going to head up out of here. I might do another stream tonight. So stay tuned. Join the DCTV family. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. Hit that sub button. Leave a like and donate to the stream if you'd like as well. WhoDey Nation, stay strong, stay positive, and hashtag pray for Joe Burrow.